Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. I'm your host Ben and we got our co-host H&H Trader Hal in the house tonight. How's it going, Hal?
Going good. You know, another day in the market, another beautiful day in the market.
All right, sounds good. So it's time for the last rip and we're going to recap any trades we took, take a look at some top gainers, and look for some swing trades or maybe even day trades for tomorrow. So let's jump in right away to the DIA. Not much going on. The SPY, the DIA, NASDAQ, all that had a little gap up pre-market and then it just went sideways all day. They did get back above the 10-day, or at least the DIA did, so that's kind of a bearish candle there though. I mean, it held above, but it got squished right there, and that's just because of that sideways movement. So I don't know. The market could pop back up again tomorrow, or this could be the start of a downtrend. I'm going to go ahead and draw the downtrend now.
Or it could be the start of a new channel.
Well, yeah.
I hate those channels.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a start of a new channel because that makes the market, that's what makes it so choppy is all this damn indecision. Yeah, so today, pretty green overall, even though the market was sideways, but there was some go red. So still just a mixed market, but we'll see. If it can break over that downtrend tomorrow, that won't be nothing. But if it doesn't, if for some reason it stays below this downtrend, then that'll confirm the start of this downtrend, and we could see another little correction or sell-off. What'd you trade today, Hal?
First trade that I took was on XERS.
This one had FDA approval, and it was for a diabetes treatment, which should be pretty big, but did not get the hype that I thought it was going to get, and I'm guessing that you thought it was going to get as well, since we both...
Yeah. Well, the way that I looked at this one, I saw how far it was from the pre-market high. Their pre-market high up there is at 337. And so I said, okay, well, this thing looks like it's going to be a range stock. So the top of the range, that second little, whatever that dip down is right there. Yeah, that top. I was like, all right, if it can just get anywhere close, I'll go ahead and take off profit. And so I got in, once it dipped down, it did this little dip. It did that little pop-up green right there. And then it did that indecision red. That's where I got in 300 shares right there on that indecision red candle. Very nice. There. Yep. And then as soon as it got close, I saw it doing weakness or whatever. I started pulling off quick. So as it ripped down, I was taking all the way. And I was all the way out. I think I had like 15 shares left or something at break even. I just stopped out of the rest of 15 shares, but I sold pretty much all of it up there at the top of that channel.
Nice. Yeah, so that was the channel I was looking forward to confirm, and I bought it the second candle that it confirmed over that indecision candle. But it gave a little wick up there. I jumped in 200 at 281, kind of at the top of that wick. And then it held up again, and then we had that move, but I didn't lock anything out. I thought we was going to break $3, that top of that channel, with this FDA approval. I thought I'd at least try to push up to maybe the 310, 315 area, but just couldn't. And I even held it. I was pretty confident in it, so I held it all the way down through here as long as it stayed above the channel, and then I just had a stop loss under the channel, so I got stopped out on that candle. And then I actually go ahead.
What I was going to say about that green candle, that big green candle right there. So what I was thinking in my head, I was like, I mean, not that one, the one over here in that one. So I was looking at the volume store and I was like, okay, why is it getting this much volume but it's not pushing out?
Yeah. And
that's what really made me scared right there, because that much green volume coming through there should have pushed that thing to about at least over, like 315, 330 something,
right? But
it didn't do it. So I was like, the buyers are failing, so I need to be a seller.
Yeah, I should have been thinking that same way, but like I said, I just got too wrapped up in that FDA approval for diabetes treatment. I was just like, man, it's got to at least come back up and test, maybe even test pre-market high, but just couldn't do it. And I was so confident I got back in this actually towards the end of the day. But I didn't get it back in as much shares. I'd let it pull all the way down, but then it started making this nice little curve. So this looked like a little U shape that was going to try to break that 265 area. and I got in there at 263 with 30 shares, and then it didn't break, started coming back down, and I just stopped out because I just put a stop and left. So that one did not work out at all. Could be, it's below the 200-day moving average. I broke that rule. These stocks, you got to play them quick. You can't be holding them. Because they're bearish. They're not bullish. Until the indicators are lined up the way they're supposed to be, getting continuations are not that likely. So even with FDA approval, this thing really did nothing today besides that pre-market pop. Could be one to maybe keep on watch, but the way it performed today, I don't. Unless it just pops up on the scanner, I'm not watching it. But
but it is Monday, so
That's true. It is Monday. I ended up losing 34 altogether on both of those trades, so that wasn't that bad. I kept my losses pretty tight on 230 shares, only losing $35.
NMTC.
Well, this was a very low float with not a lot going on and just had a pop.
So right in here on this little red candle, the news is trash. You're not going to see good news.
Actually, that's decent news. They had a partnership. Any partnerships always get some hype in them.
Yeah.
Well, it's not great, but it's enough to get people hype.
That red candle there, if you can zoom in a little bit to the first red candle.
I don't even want to look at this ugly chart. Nonetheless, zoom in on it.
All right. So that red candle, I entered 300 shares right there.
Oh,
and
nice.
Pretty much just let it ride. I did sell early on the first 300 shares because I knew it had a shelf registration on it. So it was a little bit more risky, high risk, very high risk actually. Yeah. But I sold the first 300 on this first little rip up on the green right there. Nope, that one right there. Sold 300, and then it came back down, and I bought the bottom of this big green candle, the very bottom of it.
Here?
Right there. 25 shares got back in for that rip up and took profit off of that. Then nice. I just got out because I knew it had a shelf registration, and as you can see, the blood did spill.
Yeah, it pretty much gave everything back.
Yep.
And you can see here, it actually gave everything back and closed below all the EMAs. It was above all the EMAs and closed back below the EMAs.
You couldn't hold that one.
No, that's a trash can that you got to scalp quick. You did a good job on that one. Did you trade anything else?
That was it. I needed capital to trade for tomorrow, and I noticed that I had left a lot of capital in there from Friday because I only took very small trades, and I had about 4,000 to trade today. But I was like, okay, if I want to trade tomorrow, I need to stop trading. So I just walked away with my little green day and come back tomorrow with some cash.
Hey, it's good to start off on Monday with a green day. That's all that matters. My DATS swing still working lovely. I had 30 shares left. I locked another 10 out up here at 668. Still holding 20 shares left. This thing's up at 710 here in after hours. Beautiful daily chart. I think we could see a possible big pop soon because these are not that big of moves. This thing is pretty low flow, only 16 million, but it only got 11 million in volume. But that one's 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Yeah, so they're just little dollar pushes up on a low float. If this gets some big volume, I think it's got a lot of potential to rip. So I may look to start trading it during the day, possibly, if it starts really getting volatile. Been in great swings so far because my average was 394 on 50 shares. I've locked out 30, around 20 of them around 615-ish, and then now another 10 at 668. So that's $2, about $2.50 a share so far I've got out of this swing.
Nice.
And then I swung Express from Friday, working out lovely. 40 shares in at 658, climbed all the way to 706 today. Nice green close above this resistance here. It could have a little pullback tomorrow, but it looks like, especially if the market pushes up tomorrow, I think Express will probably have a nice run up to $758. That's what I'm looking for, is it to come back up, test this wick right here, this whole area. Now for the chaos and onslaught and danger that I put myself in today. So this was another FDA approval for the sleep apnea device. And it had a big gap up there in the morning, moving up from, what was it, down at 354 all the way up to 650. And it held right there through pre-market. So I waited for a pullback, and we had that little pullback, and then we got a green candle pushing up. So I got in there 100 shares at 639. It's kind of right there towards the top of the candle. And it come back down, bounced off of this support, and shot up to 7. Actually got, I think it's got halted. Yeah, it got halted and then gapped up right there. And I locked 10 shares out at 706 at the top. Don't ask me why I only locked 10 shares out. Only a magical wizard who lives in a shoe knows the answer to that question. But it came back down on me. So I was holding 90 shares this whole time, waiting for it to try to come back up, and then it just dumped again, and I finally had to get out. But I am back in this, swinging this. I saw it start to come back up. It held the support. Where I got out at ended up being the very bottom. The bottom wick of this last candle hit at 536, and I got out at 537. So I got back in as it was coming back up. 100 shares at 564, and then I had a little dip here, and I added 10 more at 557. And it got a climb and pushed all the way back up to 7, but I wasn't around when it had this move. I was just waking up from a little rest and saw it was coming back down, so I didn't get any of that, unfortunately. But I'm still holding here in after hours, still going sideways at this 570 area. So I am up at the moment. You know, I'm up 6-7 cents on this 110 shares. We'll see what it does tomorrow. But the reason why I got back in this is I looked into this PR a little more. The FDA did decline an application for another thing that VVOS was trying to get approved. But they denied the FDA rejection and are going to fight it because their product that they were trying to get through is actually already being used in dental offices, and they're making money on it. Now, the thing they did get approved for, the sleep apnea device, if you read into the PR, is approved by the FDA and is able to be paid for by insurance, including government insurance, Medicare. So if you know anything about our healthcare system and how screwed up it is with insurance companies paying for things, they're going to make a ton of money off of these sleep apnea devices because the insurance is going to pay for them so they can charge any price. So I'm very bullish on this, but I did look at their SEC filing, and in the filing they had not a shelf registration but an employee benefit insurance filing or something like that. It's something I've never really heard of. But all the employees who's been holding shares and gained shares from working for the company can sell at market price with that filing. So this thing is only 22 million shares outstanding and got 172 million in volume today and pretty much went sideways. I mean, this is not an up or down movement. This is just straight sideways after the first explosion. So I think employees of this company were dumping shares all day today. And the hype from the market with this FDA approval and the retail traders like me who really thought this was going to explode at some point came in, and it just ended in a stalemate. But you see the selling volume decreased all throughout the day. It was big selling volume, and it got smaller and smaller. And then one little dip here before market close. But there was constant buying volume, just a little bit, across there the whole time, buying every dip. I think they're probably out, and I'm holding this overnight to see if it jumps up tomorrow. Because that low of a float, with the float traded literally almost 10 times, about eight times the amount of shares that's actually in the float.
Yeah.
This should have ripped a lot harder than it did.
We'll see.
Yeah. You know, I did some digging. I did some research on it before I decided to take this second position. This first position just dumbness. Should have locked in at least half of the position at the top. But this entry was more strategic, and we'll see if it pays off and if I can't make my loss back on VVOS with VVOS.
I do like low float swing trading as long as they don't have those shelf registrations. I can't hold those overnight.
Yeah, no, that's why I went and made sure on DATS Express and VVOS that there wasn't any shelf registrations, but they did have that one thing. But that's not the same thing. They don't halt the stock. It's just the employees at will can sell whenever they want. So you see the price go up, a couple of dollars, and you're an
Hmm.
employee, and you have some shares that the company gave you. You might lock those out. You might be hurting for some money right now. So that's what it felt like. Like that was the selling pressure. So
Yeah.
Vivos, I think, could be a possible. I'm swinging it. I think it's got some potential still. I don't think it's done. See, that's ugly. I'm looking at the top NASDAQ gainers, and there's actually not anything good on here.
The only one that I was looking at
Besides
now that's on
Vivos.
my scanner is HGBL, and it actually is
HG.
trying to go up now. So I might jump in here for the little ride up. It's been holding this position for quite a bit. It actually gapped up in aftermarket, and 2021 was what it needed to break, and now it's up to 2024, and the 200 moving average is above it. So I would like to sell up there at that 200 moving average. The only problem is on the daily chart, looks like it dipped through there quite a bit. So I'll have to possibly keep that stop maybe, or wake up in the morning and try to get out. But I don't really feel like doing that. So I may not even take this trade now that I see that 200 moving average and how it's looking.
Yeah, I don't like the daily. It right now it is right here in between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA.
Mm-hmm.
So and at 50 is pointing down, which I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna get. I don't know. That's the thing. It may not do anything. Does it have
Yeah.
PR? Let's see. They did acquire another company, so that is good PR. But there was no terms disclosed, so nobody knows what they bought it for or anything. I mean, the low is $1.50 of the year.
I was just gonna swing it for 10 shares, not nothing big.
Oh, 10 shares? Yeah, man, you can
Mm-hmm.
swing for 10 shares.
Kind of like a practice swing, because like,
Yeah,
just if it does gap up, okay. If it doesn't, what's the most I can lose? If I say the 200 moving average on the 5 minute, it looks like it's about at the
$2.
I would probably just say a break of the two.
Yeah, I'm gonna say about $2. So I mean, you take 10 shares on this, 20 cents above two, and it drops below two. You risk $1.40.
Yeah.
That's a
So
lot. That's a light work. That's a light work swing trade.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not anything crazy. I just want to kind of get my feet wet, my little toes wet. The other one that just popped back on my scanner that popped off earlier is RNAZ. That daily chart looks a little bit better. It has gapped up during
What is it?
aftermarket.
What is it?
Uh, RNAZ. So I was really going to take 10 shares on both of them and see which one pops.
I like the random buying volume here in after hours. Let's see. Well, it ended with cash and cash equivalents, so they ended up positive for Q2.
Hmm.
So that is some decent earnings. It's not like amazing, but this thing got beat up since it IPO'd.
Yeah.
Yeah, 312. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, this is not a bad swing at all. The low is at 265. That
Yeah.
support is held up. It's gapped up here after hours. So even if it does drop back down to the 200, that $3 area, it could easily pop up to 377 and maybe even push through that.
Right now, the resistance is under the 9 EMA at the 314. So if it can hold up that 314 before it close, I'll be definitely looking at it, for entry here, small entry.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I like these newer IPOs that's been beat up so bad, and that's it's man, it just got beat up, man. It got beat to death. You hate seeing that a brand new company comes out and then like the CEO's jumping out the window because their stock price plummets from the IPO. No, that doesn't happen. AEHL. This is very low float. Has a little triangle there. and holding 250. So one buying volume push will push it right back above all of them. Yeah, it just needs to break a $3. It could easily test the top of the triangle. And then if it breaks that triangle, it's got room up to $4.
Yeah, I'll be kind of weary of that one. That thing's got a lot of work to do. Each one of those is major resistance.
Yeah, but they're all together. So if it gets one big buy and push, it could push right through all of them. This is only 5.7 shares outstanding. So it's very low float. You know, one good press release and 2 million people come in this. If it doesn't have a shelf registration, it could pop. MBOT is a past ripper.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like they got notice of allowance for U.S. patent application titled Device for Automatically Inserting and Manipulating a Medical Tool into and Within a Bodily Lumen. Whatever
Say that last
means.
part again.
The title of their application is Device for Automatically Inserting and Manipulating a Medical Tool into and Within a Bodily Lumen.
Oh, okay, got you.
I don't know what that means, but
like the lumen of your eye.
I kind of thought maybe it had something to do with your eye, but that just sounds, I don't know, not my cup of tea.
Lumens is how light is measured.
But this has got pretty strong support at 675, and it's tested the downtrend today, holding up above the 50-day. I like this one. I'm going to put this on my watch list because the MBOT I've traded before. Very low float. Coming out with that news, but getting overshadowed. Didn't get any volume today, except for a little bit of selling volume. So we'll be back tomorrow on both channels, live stream day trading. If you haven't checked out Hal's channel yet, H&H Trader, go check it out. There's a link in the description. And are we all good for the pre-market show in the morning?
Yep.
All right, so we'll be on both channels 8 a.m. discussing what is going to be our war strategy for the day. Appreciate everybody joining us as always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.